Welcome back, and this is a second video on my 2007 Jaguar XK. In the last video I did about this, I purchased it a little bit north of here. It is quite a mess, but it was the cheapest running and driving Jaguar XK in the USA by far. And it also does have a clean title, but that is where the good things stop, because the interior is disgusting and it makes tons of beeps and bongs and everything. Tires are shot, taillights are broken, Jaguar emblems spray painted gold. It needs a lot of love. But that is what I'm here to give it, and first of all, it is getting new wheels and tires. These are from a Jaguar F-Type, and they shall be replacing the ones that are actively disintegrating, as well as the one that is the spare. Not only was this front left tire from 2013, it was quite literally coming apart. But while that's off, this is a good time to take a look at these left front brakes because they sound so bad. So no pad left on the outside, good. And there's a little pad left on the inside, but that is going to need to be addressed very soon. So immediately I am encountering an issue. These are the lug nuts that were on the car, and they do not fit the new wheels. As you can see, they about drop through. Luckily though, I've got a set of Toyota style lug nuts that I had on a Toyota Celsior, and they seem to fit just fine. See, I knew I was keeping this giant box of lug nuts around for some reason. Oh, glad it wasn't raining when I drove this home. Dang. I did a little bit of Googling and found that these are Coventry Whitley wheels, and they do not appear to be great quality, so I'm glad to be getting rid of them in exchange for factory wheels. I am a big fan of that. Way better than those. Ooh, look at that. Oh, these are toast. This one's even separating there. See, it's bulging like that. That's sketchy. You can see in the left front that these lugs were just barely getting a hold of this spare. That is very sketchy. I pulled the right front out of the trunk and it looks like it needs more than just a new tire. But this tire is also extremely destroyed. Oh no, bummer. But anyways, these wheels are a huge improvement in both looking good and not looking trashy. And these tires are very nice, I like them. Missing one lug nut, but I'll track another one down. But next up is to pull it inside, start opening it up, and figure out what parts I need to order, because I'm sure it's going to be a lot. Now that the wheel and tire situation is addressed, the next most pressing thing that I can see from the outside is the front brakes. They are metal on metal. So I'll throw front rotors and pads in the cart. And another thing I'm now remembering is that the hood struts are horrible. They're completely destroyed. So as I'm not too keen on continuing to use a broken broomstick to hold the hood up, I'm going to order a couple of new hood struts. Now moving on to the engine, I'm just going to go ahead and take a wild guess and say that this oil has not been changed in a very long time, so I'm going to throw a new filter and oil in the cart as well. Might as well test and see how much AC pressure there is, and there is none. The gauge does not move. Lovely. With the engine cover off, there's not really a whole lot that I'm seeing under here. A lot of things are kind of crusty. There's what looks like electrical tape on the intake, which is nice. Some tape here too, not sure what that's doing. Yeah, let's see what's behind door number 1. Just a horn, I guess, and a lot of needles. And blower motor, okay. Door number 2, not secured in any way, shape, or form. A lot more needles, fluids, fuse box probably. Yep. And I know that this left front headlight is out, and also looks like the leveling thing is pointing straight down, so that's going to need addressing. I wonder what that is. I don't know exactly where the engine air filter is, but I'm going to assume it's down there somewhere. But what I can check in the meantime is the cabin air filter. Luckily, this lid is already broken, so that's really easily accessible. That's a lot better than I was expecting, to be honest. But I'm still going to go ahead and order a new one, as well as an engine air filter, just assuming that it needs to be replaced. Also just noticing that I removed the air filter like this, but the airflow arrows are pointing the opposite directions. This was installed backwards. Great. But moving on back, I'm going to skip right past the interior because I don't want to go there and move to the back. I'm seeing some things that need some love. This obviously is broken. That is also obviously broken. This one, little low on blinker fluid. This one is very low on blinker fluid. This part has been spray painted gold. for some reason. I will be undoing that and I guess securing it correctly, because it's not. And the third brake light not only is broken, but it looks like it's been broken even worse and then glued back together. So I'm gonna try and find a new one of those. That made a funny sound. Anyways, back in the back, there's a string to open the trunk. There's a significant amount of missing trim, which is good. Oh, that is certainly a smell back here. The smell of water being somewhere for a long time. Got a crusty wheel spacer. Huh, that's the license plate thing. I've definitely seen worse than this. Up here, all of this should be covered, but it's not. That's not tight at all. The trim up here is gonna need some addressing. It's interesting how the struts here are actually rusty, but yet they work just fine, whereas the ones on the front are not rusty and they do not work. So not too terrible back there, but now it is time to bring it up to the front. I need to find a new one of those. And then it just gets worse. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about this seat. I'm gonna see if I can find another whole seat, or I might have to have this reupholstered. Definitely gonna need to clean the entire inside. There's a lot of mold on stuff and it smells real bad. Steering wheel is pretty worn. A lot of the little trim pieces like that are flaking. I think this one looks like it's been spray painted for some reason. The door is very, very dirty and filled with junk. We got some straws and some spoons. That's how the tweeter should look. That's how the tweeter over there looks. Good news is the screen seems to work pretty good. All the buttons seem to work. This button up here is broken, but I don't think I'm really going to care about that. Okay, I guess that's broken too. The dash itself needs a good clean, but it looks to be all there. The whole glove box assembly is not really secured. I think that just may be loose. The passenger door is very nasty, and the switch there is broken. I'm missing whatever switch should have gone there. This piece is pretty beat up, and also that is obviously not great. Looks like the latch for the center console is broken. Good. Take a look at the real nice condition moldy seat belts, as well as the Starlight made of mold headliner. See if I can get this nasty tint off this light, because I don't know why that's there. But first things first, I just want to give it a really good clean, and as these seats are not bolted down, I think I'm going to start with pulling these things out. So underneath the nasty seats, let's see what we got. Tootsie Roll wrapper, Reese's Pieces of wrapper, a straw, a pen, and a fingernail. Okay, lovely. Underneath the driver's seat, got some tinfoil and just general grime. Ooh, actually, sassy, classy, and badassy. I don't know what that is, but it's going in the trash. And this, in the back, is the cup holder section that should be in there. That is absolutely disgusting. So things are a little bit cleaned up. I've got the driver's seat back inside, and luckily all the controls for the driver's seat do work. Even the inflatable bolstering and the inflatable lumbar work just fine. But the passenger side is where I experienced some issues. As you might have remembered from earlier, the passenger seat back is fully reclined, which is not ideal in a car with back seats made for people with no legs. But after a while of trying to make sense of all this gadgetry going on under the seat, I think I've figured out something. The motor for the back is down there. So I trace the wires from there all the way back up through here, and they go right there. So by putting 12 volts from a drill motor to those wires, I can get the seat back to move up. And bada bing, bada boom. Seat's moving up. Passenger seat is in, and all of the functions do work with the exception of the seat back, but I'm going to ignore that for now because I got it to the point where it's comfortable and no one's going to notice that it's broken until they try that switch, and then they'll see that it's broken, but I don't care. And moving on from the seats for 1 second, I put some new wiper blades on the front. Very small thing, but they were desperately needed. Bringing it back to the driver's seat, I'm going to give leather repair tape a try because I really don't feel like replacing this entire seat. I should probably just replace the entire seat. That looks terrible. That being said, I did order some more in a different color, so fingers crossed that the second try is the charm. But I have removed this crummy window tint on both sides. I put the floor mats in on both sides, and interestingly enough, the previous owner had these switched. This is the passenger mat, and it was in the driver's side, and the driver's mat was in the passenger side. That's weird. I've got a couple pieces of plastic trim that I am gluing back together. This goes in the trunk, and this holds the tweeter speaker on the passenger door. And on the back, I removed the red duct tape on the passenger taillight, and I don't know why there was duct tape on it. It's not broken. That's a very interesting choice. And on the driver's side, this is indeed broken, but I put some clear tape over it for now until I get a replacement, which may or may not happen. And bringing it back around to the front, it is time to finally address these hazy, nasty headlights. With the headlights both out, this left front headlight, the bulb was pointing straight down, and I have figured out why. If you look down in there, you can see that little ball and socket, and that was disconnected, so I popped it back in, and now it's level, although you can't really see it through this very faded exterior. That is always so satisfying to do on these old plastic headlights. I love it. Now, the next thing I did is purely budgetary. This hunk of British junk came without a fuel door for some reason. And I know that having a chrome filler door on my car makes it look like I'm 57 and this car is my entire personality, but it is better than paying the price of a real one. And it's just a cover. This is supposed to go on a Dodge Ram, but I trimmed it enough to where it closes. And, you know, I'm gonna leave it. A little over a week has passed since the last clip, and in that time, FedEx managed to lose all my parts, but they finally showed up, and most of this is not for this car, it's for other cars, but I have some things to throw on here. The first thing it desperately needs is an oil change, and I got a couple of filters for that. While the oil is draining, I'm going to do a couple of things. First off is a fresh cabin air filter. This is the old one. It was not only installed incorrectly, but it's very nasty. So I got a fresh one from some random brand that I don't know what it is. New cabin air filter is installed, and I've got the left front headlight out because this is the burnt out headlight bulb, and I have a new one in my hand right here. And I have fresh, non-blown hood struts to throw on. And of course, new brakes, because these are metal on metal. Ugh. Brakes are off on the left front. These are the pads. You can see they were wearing into the brackets. And this is the new rotor, and that's the old one. It was wearing in pretty good. And now there's fresh rotors and pads on both sides of the front. Got a fresh headlight bulb, fresh hood supports, fresh cabin air filter. And the one last thing for now is a fresh engine air filter, and I'm not exactly sure where that's located because I see the intake going down there somewhere. So I'm guessing I'm gonna have to get to it from below. I do believe I have found it. If you take the fender liner out and take a couple screws out, I think this is the filter back here. Oh, it's in like a little box. Look at that. Oh, that is nasty. This new one's looking a little better. Back on the ground, there is some oil in there, but I need to start it up to fill up the oil filter, then I can fully check the level. I want to see if the lights work. No, that was not the problem. Great. It's a few minutes later, and I figured out why the key fob was not working. There was a new battery in there, but the guy had installed it backwards. So now the buttons do the thing. I can turn on my one headlight. Still need to figure out why that one doesn't work. I got the car to stop thinking the trunk was open by slamming the trunk. Some more water I'd collected back here, but I obviously cleaned that out. But now it's time to go take it for a drive. I have not driven this thing in quite a while, but now it does start with the key not in the glove box, which is very convenient, I think. Sweet. You'll probably hear one of the random CDs that was in here playing, although I don't know how to stop it now. It's just saying, okay, there we go. Stop. Wipers, stop. Stop. Okay, in typical Washington fashion, it is raining. I think I have the auto setting on here. I do. Aha, I think it's, oh, maybe it's working. I don't know, we'll find out. So, we still got a check engine light, still got TPMS light, cat system fault. I guess the trunk still thinks that it's open and it's telling me to check the tire pressure. I thought that the beeping was because of the trunk, but the other thing I did was I turned the parking brake on and then off. Maybe that did it. But let's give it the beans here. Whew. It gets up pretty good. I would like to do that again. There's a VW Golf behind me that I guess thinks we're racing. You'd probably win. This car's really not that fast. Everything in here seems to be working okay. I'm not going to try this heated seat because I'm worried about the integrity of the seat, but I will try the heated steering wheel, which I've tried before, and I think it works. Where? Oh, there. All right, I'll update shortly. Ooh, the steering wheel's warm. I guess that works. Woohoo! A lap of luxury in here. This thing gets going pretty good. It kind of throws you back. I mean, it only has 300 horsepower, which I guess is a pretty good number of horsepower. But for sports cars, it's not crazy, but it's fun. It makes a really good sound. Even with a stock exhaust, that sounds real nice. The thing I don't think I have tried is cruise control. I don't know how to turn it on. There's a few buttons here. How about that one? Oh, set speed, 48. A lot of these things are worn off, so I don't really know what the things I'm doing. Ooh, it clicks up. It's going faster. Hey, cruise control, something that is expected to work, but not when a car is this junk. I wonder what this traction control looking button does. T-Track DSC. Hoping that means disabled, but I'm about to find out. Will it do a donut? Let's find out. No, it does not. When it says that the traction control is disabled, I don't think it's completely disabled, because it definitely cut in there a little bit. Ooh, I pressed the button for way longer. Now it says DSC off. I'm guessing dynamic stability control. Now maybe it'll do a little spinny spin. How about now? No. Still one wheel peel. Washington weather is not playing along today. Jeez. Oh my goodness. So definitely still a few things to figure out on this, but it's promising. It runs and drives pretty good. The seatbelt is still terrible. Come on, go. I'll address that later, probably not. There are still obviously a lot of things to figure out with this fine automobile. Like, for example, the left front headlight does not work. I put a new bulb in it and it still does not work. And same story with the right rear turn signal. The turn signal did not work. I put a new bulb in it and it still does not work. And of course, the check engine light and suspension warning light are on, but I have not dived into those yet, but I'm sure there will be some things to figure out there. And the seat, still something to figure out there. There's a few different colors of Amazon leather repair tape, and they don't blend in the slightest. And the paint's a little more faded in some spots than others, but overall it is in much better shape than it was when I got it, so I think I'm getting pretty close to being able to actually drive and enjoy it.